Imagine a world without order, where the sky presses down upon the waters and the earth has yet to take shape. A place where primeval gods, vast and unknowable, move through chaos, shaping, destroying, and creating at will. From this raw turmoil arose the first stories of gods and men, tales that would echo for millennia. The Sumerians, inhabitants of the fertile lands between the Tigris and Euphrates, witnessed the birth of cosmos from chaos, and in their myths, we find a mirror of humanity's earliest attempts to understand existence, divinity, and destiny. To explore the Mesopotamian gods is to walk through the dawn of human imagination, where every river, every wind, every star was alive with divine purpose. Mesopotamia, the land between rivers, was more than fertile soil and flowing water. It was the cradle of civilization, where cities rose, kings ruled, and writing was born. And in this world the gods were everywhere, looming over cities, rivers, and skies, present in every grain of barley and drop of rain. The Sumerians, living in this land over 5,000 years ago, told stories of gods who emerged from primordial chaos, shaped the universe, and established the order that humans would come to inhabit. Sumerian mythology begins not with humans, but with the cosmos itself. The earliest gods were forces of nature, vast and unknowable. From them emerged younger deities who personified creation, life, and society. Through these myths, the Sumerians sought to explain their world, the cycles of life and death, and the eternal struggle between chaos and order. This story will journey through the rise of the Mesopotamian pantheon, explore the epic tales of divine conflict and cooperation, and uncover how these myths influence not only Sumerian culture, but the foundations of human religious imagination itself. In the beginning, there was nothing but Namu, the primeval sea, an endless expanse of waters without form, without sky or land. Namu is often described as the mother of all, the origin from which everything would flow. From her depths came An, the sky god, and Kai, the earth goddess. The two came together, their union creating the first generation of gods, those who would shape the cosmos. The Sumerians envisioned a universe in which water, earth, and sky were alive, conscious, and divine. Chaos was not simply disorder, it was potential, the raw material from which cosmos, order, and civilization would be carved. The gods in their early forms were both creators and destroyers, forces who wrestled with the chaotic elements and with one another. It is said that An, the lord of the heavens, ruled from above, while Kai, the earth goddess, nurtured the land below. Their love brought forth Enlil, the god of air and storm, whose breath shaped the atmosphere and whose decisions would guide the fate of gods and men alike. From this primordial triad, the first patterns of life emerged, and with them, the stories of divine hierarchy began. The early gods were powerful, but often distant, almost abstract forces. With the birth of younger deities, the stories of Sumerian mythology became vivid, filled with drama, conflict, and triumph. Among these gods was Enki, the god of wisdom, water, and creation. Enki, son of Namu, was a clever and cunning deity, known for shaping humanity from clay and bestowing knowledge upon mortals. He was the mediator, the bringer of order to the chaotic forces unleashed by his predecessors. Another pivotal figure was Inanna, goddess of love, war, and fertility, whose adventures across heaven and earth made her one of the most complex figures in the Sumerian pantheon. She descended into the underworld, defied death, and wielded both seduction and destruction to assert her divine will. Inanna embodied the tensions of life itself, creation and destruction, desire and loss, order and chaos intertwined. The interactions among these gods illustrate a Sumerian understanding of the universe as a dynamic interplay of forces. Cosmic battles, rivalries, and alliances were not merely stories. They represented the natural and social order that the Sumerians observed daily: storms, floods, seasons, and human society itself. Enlil, as the god of air, storms and authority, played a central role in imposing structure on the cosmos. He separated heaven from earth, creating the space for life to flourish. His decrees determined the fate of gods and men, and his presence reminded humans of the delicate balance between obedience and survival. One of the most dramatic tales involves Enlil and the flood, a story of divine wrath and human vulnerability. As humans multiplied, Enlil feared that their noise disturbed the heavens. To restore order, he decided to send a great flood to wipe humanity from the earth. Yet in this narrative, Enki intervened, warning a mortal, instructing him to build a boat to preserve life. This story, preserved in Sumerian and later Akkadian epics, reflects the tension between chaos and order, punishment and mercy, death and survival. Humans, in Sumerian belief, were not accidental. They were created deliberately by the gods to serve divine needs and to cultivate the earth. According to myth, Enki and Ninhursag shaped humans from clay, infused them with divine essence, and gave them life. Humanity's purpose was to honor the gods, maintain the land, and sustain civilization. Through this act of creation, the Sumerians expressed the connection between the divine and mortal realms. Humans were not equal to gods, but they carried the spark of divinity, endowed with intelligence, creativity, and the capacity to influence the world. In this way, Sumerian mythology intertwines cosmology with human destiny, teaching lessons about loyalty, wisdom, and the consequences of transgression. Among the most compelling narratives is that of Inanna's descent into the underworld, a story that blends mysticism, psychology, and theology. Inanna sought to extend her power into realms where no mortal or god had dominion. She passed through 7 gates, shedding symbols of power at each, and confronted her sister, Ereshkigal, ruler of the underworld. The myth illustrates the inevitability of death, the necessity of humility, and the transformative potential of suffering. Inanna's eventual return to the world of the living symbolizes resurrection, renewal, and the cyclical nature of life. Concepts that would resonate through later Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and even biblical narratives. Sumerian mythology presents a layered hierarchical cosmos. At the top are the primordial forces, Namu, An, Ki, followed by younger, more active deities like Enlil, Enki, and Inanna. Beneath them are minor gods, spirits, and demigods, each with specific domains: the rivers, the wind, fertility, war, and craft. This hierarchical structure mirrors human society, particularly the city-states of Sumer. Just as kings ruled under divine mandate, so did gods rule their domains with responsibility and consequence. Myths reinforce the legitimacy of earthly authority, while explaining natural phenomena as the actions of conscious, intentional forces. Sumerian mythology did not disappear. It influenced Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian traditions, leaving echoes in the Epic of Gilgamesh, flood myths, creation stories, and even later Western religious thought. The Mesopotamian gods, born from chaos, established the cosmos, creating a framework for humanity's understanding of existence, morality, and destiny. Through tales of conflict, creation, and divine intervention, the Sumerians articulated the delicate balance of life, chaos and order, mortality and divinity, destruction and renewal. These stories, crafted over thousands of years, reflect the human desire to understand the universe and our place within it. The Mesopotamian gods were not distant or abstract. They were intimately connected to the rhythms of life, the cycles of nature, and the destiny of humanity. From the waters of Namu to the skies of An, from the storms of Enlil to the adventures of Inanna, Sumerian mythology reveals a world in which the cosmos itself is alive, purposeful, and sacred. To explore the Mesopotamian pantheon is to witness the birth of religion, myth, and civilization. a story of chaos transformed into cosmos, and of humanity finding meaning amidst the divine. These myths endure, reminding us that the universe is not only a place of matter, but a tapestry of stories, spirits, and gods, echoes of a time when humanity first looked to the heavens and asked, "Who are we, and what rules the world?"